Gerald Ford is the most slept-on president in American history. Everybody considers him boring, and he's just a bit of a stopgap between Nixon and Jimmy Carter and Reagan. But for 17 days in the summer of 1975, he had the most wild presidency of all time. We're getting into it here tonight on American Loser.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Coming first, never last, the only raised from the past. I am an American loser. No one remembers my name. No legacy and no future. One step behind in the game.
All right, folks. What is going on here? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Loser Dome, folks. Okay, we're here at Gas Digital. It is not a rerun, okay? This is not a rerun. Josie is here again, okay? The great Josie Marcellino. She's hanging out with us. Different outfit, folks, okay? Different outfit, okay? First of all, you're from Maryland, living in Philly right now. The outfit, very Jersey girl.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is the Italian roots coming through.
Oh, see,
is what it is.
You know, by the way, Harrington was in Italy recently. I don't know if you knew about it, or if he cornered you in a room and talked to you endlessly about it.
No, I wish I tried to corner his wife and talk about it because I think that's so fun.
I feel like she had the traditional girl experience over in Italy, where it's a lot of, and then there's like, you know.
Well, but she did have Harrington there, so that's not usually on the Italian girl summer.
No, it's, I feel like Harrington was like, dude, the gnocchi and the espresso over there was life-changing. That's all he talked to me about is the food so far. Nothing about the culture or taking in the arts or maybe giving me some cool stuff about history to talk about on our show.
In fairness, the food is, as an Italian, the food is the best part of the culture, of the history, of the art, all of it. That is the best part.
I once heard somebody say Italians are excellent at cooking because they made up for the fact that they can't read. That's what I was told once.
That is a very nice way to say we're great cooks, I think.
You know, you find the positive in everything, Josie.
Yeah,
that's what I like about you.
Sunny side up. That's what it is.
If you guys don't know the deal, if this is your first episode, we're telling you weird stories from American history. We like to put the spotlight firmly on second place. We are telling you guys stories that are going to get skipped over to your history books, and most of you guys are actually returning people at this point, so just want to say thank you to all of you guys here real quickly. Also in the booth, Harrington, fresh out of, back in America, buddy. Welcome back, Michael.
I mean, unfortunately, KP.
I hear you. That, by the way, was a toss-up. I knew you were in Italy, but everybody here at Gas just assumed drug court. We couldn't figure it out. We were like, this has to be a relapse.
No, like you can only claim drug court once every 10 years. So I still got a couple years on the meter before I can pull that card again.
Is it a relapse if you never stop consuming drugs?
He's just redefined what he considers those things, actually. That's what I found. But the beautiful Mike Harrington back in there with us. And also, Dominator, you held it down the whole time he was gone. Okay, we thought you were about to have to raise a child with Alex
No, that
the
was
absence
Jorge's
of Michael
job.
Harrington.
That was for Jorge.
Well, you know what it is? Jorge's going to do that too, but Jorge, we're not exactly sure. There's ICE agents everywhere. Any given day now, folks. That seems to be what's happening.
And congrats on Employee of the Month, Dom. That's so fun.
Thank you very much.
That's right. That's what he does. He helps us solve our problems over here. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited. The best part about bringing on a guest, because we met for the first time when you came on for the show.
Yeah.
And you're wonderful. You're very funny too. I got to check out your stand-up and everything. Where can people find you if they don't already follow the great Josie Marcellino?
You can follow me at Josie Marcellino. It's JosieMarcellino.
Right on. And you're hanging out in town today with us too. So we're going to go ahead and just get right into this bad boy. You also get how the show works, which means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So as we said, Gerald Ford, kind of remembered as a boring president here. You kind of skip over him in the history books. And that's wrong, folks. We're not doing that today. Michael Harrington gave me this topic. He really did. He came up big for me. This was a text message. He does not realize he's given me, on average, these scripts are about 5 pages I wind up writing. So each week I wind up writing it. Harrington has given me a 15-page writing assignment.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because each one of these little weird topics, he's like, oh yeah, it's a cool thing. It involves this person, this person. Each person deserves their own story. And we're going to dive right into it. So first and foremost, folks, Gerald Ford, everybody forgets that, number one, he was president. People forget that. Number two, they forget that there was, I guess, 17 days in 1975 where this dude almost got twice.
was that for pardoning Nixon? Because that's what I think about when I think of Gerald Ford.
See,
that he pardoned Nixon, and that was like, what the fuck?
This is why Josie's money on this show, folks. She understands that one. So, it gets a little bit complicated. We'll explain him a little bit here. But Gerald Ford had a chance to be kind of a unifier in the country. And he's remembered as a good man, but not a great president. And the big blemish on that one, the giant black eye that he has to hold up a butcher steak to his face about, is because he pardoned his old boss, Richard Nixon. So we're going to get right into it, folks. It is a very bizarre time in American history, and when this incident goes down, it is the year 1975. So, Dom, what do you say we hit him with a little zeitgeist? Right on. Watergate is still standing a nation. Johnny Carson owns late night. Still does, if you ask me. Guys want to be cool like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro in Godfather Part 2. Women are drooling over Robert Redford. Dudes were yanking and cranking to Wonder Woman and Daisy Duke. The Steelers are Super Bowl champions. Springsteen made us believe in our dreams with his anthem Born to Run, and Fleetwood Mac let us know that none of them were ever going to come true with their song Landslide. SNL debuts, Fergie is born, we lose Saigon, but we get Busch Gardens. So even trade, if you ask me, folks. And good old Gerald Ford is now the 38th president of the United States. This story is going to have a couple of main players we have to get into here, but first and foremost, Gerald Ford. You said off the top of your head, Josie, Gerald Ford, you're me like, oh, the guy who pardoned Nixon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, is there anything else worth remembering?
That's a pretty big... Now, okay, I know there was one other president at one point that did what Trump has currently done, where they were president, and then they weren't president, and then they were president
Grover
again.
Cleveland, Jersey's own.
That's why I'm thinking the G. I'm like, it begins with a G, but okay. Yeah. So same alliteration of the first name, but yeah, pardon Nixon, which is fucking crazy.
It's that scandal gets covered so much. That's why people put all their attention on that. That's why what we do on the show is we kind of go into the other weird details. Chevy Chase actually played Gerald Ford on SNL. That's the first time, because SNL debuts around this time, and they just mock him endlessly. Chevy Chase plays him as like a klutz. He has this weird snafu where he falls off the bottom of the steps of Air Force One. And so for his entire life, they portray him as kind of a clueless klutz. He's going to knock into things. They make him oafish, which is weird because the more you read about the guy, you're like, all right, none of this tracks. Not one part of it. He is, Gerald Ford, an American anomaly. There's two insane moments in American history that will see him actually get elected to the highest office in the land. But neither time did he get elected. He's the only president that was never elected to either office, VP or POTUS, that he served in. So it's a trippy one here. He's kind of tough to figure out where you want to start with him. He's described by Henry Kissinger as the, and this should scare you, I think, not you specifically, but this should scare all of us. Henry Kissinger, who is a complicated man, he'll get his own episode at one point. He said that Gerald Ford is the closest thing we're ever going to have to a normal person in the White House.
Awesome.
Yeah, not really.
Great.
I don't know if
Great
it's,
to hear.
Yeah, am I more sad or am I? It feels like those Irish songs I grew up listening to, where they sound happy, but it's actually really sad if you pay attention.
It's, you know what other one? If you don't want to get into Irish songs, Hey Ya by Outkast. That is a breakup song.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, that's a breakup song. That's literally about them breaking up and like not working out. And he's like, y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance. And so that's what that's all about.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't want to meet your mama. Don't want to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to try to talk up Gerald Ford here, folks, but I'm currently dealing with the personal loss of Hey Ya. That was Radio Disney Gold back in the day.
So why are we in denial when we know we're not happy here? That's a part of the song.
Man.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for like 10 years from now when some sort of a Charles Bradley type blues singer is going to come in there and just show you the real pain behind the lyrics.
I only know it because I had a friend who she sings in the bar, does like cover songs. So with an acoustic guitar and a soft female voice, that song becomes a tearjerker.
Oh, it's haunting.
You're like, fuck, I hear the lyrics. I didn't want that.
That's right. Alanis Morissette covering Outkast's Hey Ya.
Basically that, yeah.
I would cry. I won't lie to you. I'm manly enough to admit that I would cry probably to Alanis singing with no clothes on and just her hair covering up her areolas. And she just sits there and sings and gets us through,
It's a different type of tears, but it is tears.
100%.
Yeah.
Harrington has a devilish look on his face in the booth.
I mean, that sounds like God herself. How could you not
That's right.
embrace
That's
it?
God herself. Yep.
What
That's
a
really
male
what it is.
feminist you are. I love it.
Male feminist / Kevin Smith devotee. So more on that later, folks. Here's what gets wild. In a hurry, we make fun of Gerald Ford all the time, and we probably shouldn't, because the more you read about him, he's about as cool of a dude. And in terms of being a survivor and a decent human being, it's all there. This is a weird trivia question that I knew. He's the only president of the United States that was actually an Eagle Scout.
Really?
So, yeah. As an Eagle Scout, I can tell you we're not all successful. Some of us just get a show on the Gas Digital Network where if you guys use the promo code LOSER, you guys can get $1 off a month on all the other great shows here. Legion of Skanks, High Society Radio, my boys, Shrek Boy Summer going on strong here. And also you were just on Zach's Morning Zoo, correct?
Zach's Morning Zoo. And the thing is, ding,
Can't forget our girl.
the wonderful
All right.
Shannon.
Our girl, Mike Figs,
Yes.
doing her thing out there, just making it happen. We truly do shit on Gerald Ford, and history doesn't even remember him all that well, but his life is pretty fascinating. He has these 2 attempts that we're going to cover. We're going to cover the first one here in this week's episode. It's a multi-parter, but we're going to bring you along the entire ride, guys, I promise. There are 2 attempts on his life within 17 days, but the first attempt on his life is actually when he is 16 days old.
Really?
This one tripped me out. It was an abusive household. His real name is actually Leslie King Jr. He changed it to Gerald Ford.
Where did he come up with that? Was it just...
I think he wound up taking his stepfather's last name, but it's pretty interesting here because Leslie King was his father, and the abuse is pretty bad early on. His mother actually has to flee from safety after abuse from his biological father, which was bad enough that Ford's parents separated when he was 16 days old. But that is what happens when your abusive father threatens your mom and you as a 16-day-old baby with a butcher knife, folks. That's what happens.
Not to play devil's advocate, but if you're gonna threaten someone's life, it's better to do it before they have memory. No.
It's an interesting take.
That's way more traumatic on the mom.
It's dark.
He
This is,
doesn't remember that.
This is like Leslie Van Houten logic. Oh, lose reception, folks. She's back.
Hey.
Also, I bet you there was a part of him where he's like, I threatened my child with a knife, but I didn't shake the baby. You're not allowed to do that.
That's
I know
true.
that much, okay?
That's true.
They didn't say anything about a butcher knife at the hospital.
And realistically, shaking comes before stabbing with a butcher knife. He skipped that one entirely. Man's got some self-control.
It's insanity that that's the early days of his life. He does go on to become an Eagle Scout. And then again, I was saying they portray him as this oafish, clumsy buffoon on, SNL, which is funny. That's the first time that somebody from SNL was mocking the president on a weekly basis on a widely watched TV show.
It was also the first time SNL was a show, though, yeah?
1975,
So,
they
yeah,
debuted.
perfect.
Yep. So that start, which we sometimes have to endure because some people aren't able to find the funny in the character. More often, you don't always get Will Ferrell playing W. You don't always get to enjoy that gold mine. But Chevy was the one who figured it out, and he played him silly, clumsy, and it's weird because I wouldn't call him oafish once you find out that he's the star linebacker for the Michigan Wolverines.
Really?
This is true. It's the 1930s Michigan Wolverines. He's not just like a guy who makes the team. He's actually like a star stud linebacker that a lot of people said was like the MVP of the team.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's and then also he's got an interesting moment, an infamous moment in history here, if you will. His best friend on the team is a guy named Willis Ward. Go ahead and say it, Harrington. I know you want to. What you talking about, Willis? It's Willis Ward happens to be a black fella on the team with him. It's his best friend, the guy he rooms with on the road. And good old Georgia Tech refuses to play against Michigan if Michigan puts a black player on the field. This is the 1930s.
Good old Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
Yep.
good old Georgia Tech, folks, which I don't know how many pros they've put out, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that any pros that Georgia Tech has given to the NFL, safe bet, probably got a little bit more lenient on their stance on no black players. Going to go ahead and assume that.
Maybe.
Well, originally this controversy was so bad that Georgia Tech refused to play, and Gerald Ford, you want to talk about being a good dude, he goes, I'm not playing that game, and I'm actually going to quit the team if we allow Georgia Tech to decide whether or not my friend Willis can play in this game. And Willis said, "What you talking about, Gerald?" And he went ahead and said, he goes, "Dude, don't let Georgia Tech ruin your football career. All right, you're a good guy. I know that there's no hate on this team, but they're just Georgia Tech. They're going to be a little different." So because his friend asks him to play in the game, Ford does play on the team. By the way, when he arrives, it's almost kismet for his presidency, if you will. He arrives and the team is in a little bit of chaos. He helps them solidify becoming, I don't know if they won the national championship, but the 1930s Wolverines was a damn good team. And then they got so bad towards the end that they actually said Gerald Ford got like the Spirit Award, if you will, for like, well, he never took a play off. He was always, we'd be down like 20-0 or something, and Gerald Ford's still tackling people in the backfield. So he likes a fight. He's into the confrontation. Probably what gets him into trouble here in the summer of '75. What do you got there, Mr. Harrington?
He was a two-way player, played center and linebacker on the team, and led the team to national titles in 32 and 33, meaning his sophomore and junior seasons.
That's insanity, man. Two-way players, too.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Travis Hunter, Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to see what that's all about again. It hasn't happened in a long time.
Huh.
So... yeah, he was. And by the way, when you see, I don't know if you saw the photo of him too, Harrington. He looks like a badass. He looks like he's supposed to be a prototype Kelsey. That's kind of what. Yep, there it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a president. That is. Let's be honest, Josie. Okay, you saw that guy, and he wants to talk to you after a show and tell you how funny you are. You're gonna let him, right?
I'd let him fuck me on the sidewalk. What do you mean? That guy's good looking.
Which is weird because that's exactly what Dom said when I showed him that photo earlier.
That is Dom's type. We have a lot of overlap, me and Dom.
Well, because Dom's also Italian, too. I don't know if you knew that.
I think that might be it.
Dom's 100% on that.
That's what it is.
Dom went to Georgia Tech, too, by the way, so I apologize. We're talking poorly about your alma mater.
I'm not sorry. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Hey, go Bulldogs.
That's exactly what the police said at the campus when black people arrived.
I was going to say, it was to me, it was just a summer day. You want to cool down with a little fire, and get some fire hydrant action going on, whatever. And you just, you're sitting there. And what makes people happy? Dogs, right? That just, it's a tough one, but don't worry, guys. We got rid of the Confederate flag. We're on the right side again.
Did you have a Confederate flag in this?
So not only did we, but it was over your shoulder the entire first time you were on the show.
Sick. Love it. Love that.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice. I'm happy to have Sam Adams back there now.
You had a Madame LaLaurie type moment going on for a second there.
That is so funny. I did not know that. I'm going to go back and clip that.
So we have never had, by the way, I can't think of anybody else we've ever had where it was a president of the United States that received legitimate offers from the NFL. I think it was the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions were both interested in getting future president Gerald Ford, who, by the way, never wanted to be president. He was going to get involved in politics. He knew that, but that wasn't his goal. He had a very weird goal. I'll get into that in a second. But he decides to say no to the NFL. And keep in mind, this is the NFL where you're making like host pay.
Yeah.
This is
this is the NFL when they all had day jobs and
you call them the Steelers because that's what they do Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And then we have a little fun game on Saturday night and everybody goes home happy. But he winds up joining the United States Navy. He serves there. This is wartime, by the way, too, folks. 1946 is when he gets out. He's an officer in the U.S. Navy Reserve. They wind up sending him a bunch of teaching positions. He actually does see some, I don't know if it's combat or danger, but he did. He's an honorable guy. So that's where it gets weird. We're showing you what a good guy Gerald Ford is because the history books aren't kind to him. And then in a minute, we're going to get into the first attempt on his life, which...
Second? Is it first? We're doing the baby one?
You know what? You're right. We're going to count that one. No asterisk. You're right. That's the number one. He's flying from danger at just 16 days old and right back into the danger here, too, playing for the Michigan Wolverines, serving in the U.S. Navy. After he gets out of the military, he will enter politics, and his life is never quite the same. A little bit more of a dirty fight in politics, I think. And Ford will serve in the U.S. House of Representatives for 25 years. During this time, his reputation is that of a man who is modest and has common sense about him. He's also big on reconciling differences, crossing the aisle, doing all the stuff that we wish politicians would do.
Remember when we had that? I don't remember that in my lifetime, but I've heard that it was a thing. That must have been cool. Yeah,
it's a weird vibe. It's a weird. I'm weird. I'm trying to bring the aisles together right now. I'm currently, because I only say it because any week now it's going to stop. Representative Dan Crenshaw from Texas and Congressman Cory Booker both follow me. So we're bringing the aisle together right here on American Loser, folks. I don't know if it was us. Maybe it was the back catalog that is available only on Gas Digital, folks. Promo code LOSER. Let's get after it.
Which side of the aisle was Ford on? I don't actually know that.
So Ford is he's a Republican, but what we always say on this show is the titles don't mean anything because they change every 30 years.
Yeah.
Politics is kind of like Madonna. You have to figure out what era you're in on this one. So
right.
It's the big government Republicans right now versus the state rights Democrats, and then it's going to flip on its head again soon. And then I hope that you live long enough to see the current status quo completely shift on a total opposite here.
I think I see that every day, actually.
I want to see President AOC deporting people and saying, this isn't your country.
Beautiful. That's what I want us to come to. Just a beautiful moment where we all get together.
You know what? That's it. We just got to find who the new guy is and go rough him up. That's usually how it works at least in Tom and Jerry cartoons. But a couple of weird things are going to happen to him while he's in the U.S. House of Representatives. Number one is he's part of the Warren Commission. So I don't know if you know anything about that. That's the investigation or the investigative body that looked into the assassination of JFK.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Gerald Ford maybe... what do we got? Harrington again. You're on fire today, bro.
No, I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you in this thought. I was a little confused by the rep part. What state was he a representative from?
So I believe he wound up repping Michigan, but he's originally from Nebraska.
Gotcha.
So, good check on that one, man. This is why I love Harrington, too. Harrington listened to the show before he became the producer. So, a listener out there, folks, if Harrington relapses, come on in, folks. You just need to know how it works.
I love that you're just Harrington's history teacher. That's the cutest thing in the world.
He listened to the show while he was gaming, so you can learn stuff while you're gaming, okay? He was just sitting there playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and apparently learning about, any number of things on this show. Two weird things happen. Number one is the Warren Commission. He's one of those guys that's on there. They give us the story that's largely still controversial as to whether or not the JFK thing went down, how they said it.
Right.
So their conclusion was Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And I don't know if you're big on Oliver Stone movies or have opened up Instagram in the last 90 days, but a lot of theories flying around out there, Josie.
I have a conspiracy theorist dad. I've heard all of the theories. I've watched the Zapruder film from every angle.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that is something I am quite familiar with.
Did you watch American Conspiracy on Netflix?
No, I don't think I watched that. I watched Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura in my formative years.
You gotta get in there. Just gotta figure it out. You don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. You earn the Pledge of Allegiance.
I feel like I'm 10 years old again.
I'm sorry, Josie.
No, it's so good.
Well,
I am familiar with the controversy.
He's a character, Jesse, in his own right. Probably deserves an episode somewhere down the road. But it is crazy where the conspiracy people all have. It has to come from your heart like that. So Jesse the Body's big on that one. Obviously, there's we'll call him AJ. He's the big bad guy because he's the one everybody hates. But I'm old enough to remember when the conspiracy guy was Michael Moore.
Yeah.
So it's trippy when it goes down on that one. But Oliver Stone's also another conspiracy guy. He's the one who made the movie about the investigation into the Warren Commission. And Gerald Ford, he holds up on that one. He was on public record until his death that he believed that they found the right call on that one. And it's just not there. It's just not there. I did figure out a way to tell conspiracies to people, by the way. Harrington might have to edit almost all this out, but conspiracy is a tough sell. I don't get lost in it. I go where the history is on it, and I'm just interested in, well, what did they think at the time? Did they find new information on something? What's being covered up? And I realized the best way to sell conspiracy to people is actually just remake Forrest Gump. But it's deep state Forrest Gump.
I love that.
Mama always said life was like a Rothschild party. You never know who you're going to fuck.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They was all wearing masks and things like that, Josie. Everybody remembers where they was on the day JFK died. I remember quite clearly. I was on a grassy knoll looking down a scope, making sure it went down just how Lieutenant Dan told us it would. Lieutenant Dan got a disease somewhere in China one time, and wouldn't you know it, the same doctor who treated Jenny showed up. I thought that was strange, but them's was the times.
That is not how I thought you were going to take that, and it's 100 times better. Oh my God,
thank
that
you.
was so fucking funny. Holy shit.
Conspiracy, Gump. You don't think it's weird that all the banking agents... I'd never heard of areas 1 through 50, let alone 51. Do you mean to tell me? What? There was all kinds of areas. There was Area 1, there was Area 2.
If you cut any of that out, I'm going to be so mad.
Josie, you're a real one.
This is so funny.
Here's
Holy shit.
So the Warren Commission, that got so much topic. We ran that one to death. Me and Mike Cannon figured that one out pretty good. The other thing that happens to him during his time is he becomes the House Minority Leader. So this is where I'm going to ask you. This is an honest question. There's no wrong answers on this one. What was a dream that you had that maybe is still going to come true? I want good things for you. Great person.
Thank you.
What's a weird dream you have that nobody, like, it's strange. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to be famous or I just want to have a lot of money. What's a weird kind of thing that you're hoping you're going to pull off in your life?
Weird things.
And if you're lost, I can tell you what a couple of mine were.
There's not too many weird things on my... I think the weirdest thing is I want to learn 13 languages specifically.
Right on. I feel like you already have 1 or 2 down,
I have
though, right?
2. I have 1.5.
Excellent.
2. It depends on how decent the Italian's going.
They call it a sleeper cell, but nobody's ever actually napping. Didn't make any sense to me. But so you want to learn 13 languages?
Yeah,
that's doable.
I've made no. I've tried to learn Spanish
You're
a little bit. I
young
guess.
lady, Josie. You have time.
That young.
She's lying, folks. Don't believe anything she's saying.
I am. Do you see the fucking? Do you see this? I am not that young.
Josie's parents had to sign a permission slip for her to be on this show.
I
okay,
so
folks?
wish that was the case. What's your weird dreams? I'm trying to think if I ever had a weird one.
I want to hang out with Richard Dean Anderson.
That's a good one.
I'm a diehard MacGyver fan from day one. And if I could hang out with Richard, that's my weird goal. Where it's like everyone's like, "Oh, that's weird. I thought you wished for your show to be more successful, or get onto the History Channel."
Is that your biggest dream?
So it's a weird dream to have. The same way that when they said Kevin Hart wanted to host the Oscars, that's like a weird dream for a comedian to have. But that's apparently what he wanted to do, according to Dave Chappelle, noted historian and journalist Dave Chappelle. But apparently, this was Gerald Ford's dream. He never wanted to be president. He wasn't interested in any of that stuff. He goes, I just want to be Speaker of the House so bad. It was the only thing he was ever on record about being ambitious towards was becoming the Speaker of the House. So this will not come into fruition for him. He's the House Minority Leader during the Lyndon Baines Johnson presidency. And LBJ was a trip. You would have to have... Reporters used to cover for his language because he cursed so much, and he would say a bunch of different things here. LBJ once quipped, and he's from Texas or whatever, Jerry Ford's so dumb he couldn't fart and chew gum at the same time. And LBJ was wrong about him. That's a pretty decent insult, especially for back then. We're kind of numb to it now in the Twitter era of presidencies, but Ford's a smart dude. And despite him being a good man with a good reputation, anyone who wanted to mock him would just kind of go towards what Chevy Chase was making fun of him for. But that's what happens when you fall down a step, right? That's just what it is. Now, Ford's dream job, like I said, Speaker of the House, doesn't really work out for him here because a couple weird things happen. Now, I know that you're originally from Maryland. You know anything about Spiro T. Agnew?
Why do I know that name?
So he was the only vice president that ever resigned in disgrace, I believe. And he's from,
Is he from?
Maryland. Yeah. He was a Baltimore kid. Nice Greek kid from Baltimore.
I know that. Like, I've heard that name before.
Yep. Well, it's a good name. That one sticks out, actually.
Yeah.
Spiro T. Agnew, which, by the way, if anyone's listening that has any sort of cachet in Hollywood, the Spiro T. Agnew story, a biopic starring Stavros. Please, all I'm asking, okay? Just what I'm looking for here, folks. He's in between seasons of Tires right now. Let's make it happen. For more on him, by the way, if you want to know more stuff about Spiro, that full story that I would love to get into with you right now, it's already been done, folks. It's in the back catalog. Over 200 episodes in the can here. Join us. Be a part of the revolution. Agnew is he's forced to resign in disgrace. He's accused of taking bribes and tax fraud.
I think I know why I remember his name. I think his name is a perfect anagram for grow a penis. I think I'm right on that. That's why I know his name.
Harrington, as producer of this show, I apologize. I try to just respect your privacy and the integrity of the show, but I'm going to need to know if this is correct. And if it is, you go ahead and you wave me down mid-sentence. I will stop because I'm pretty excited to see this.
I think it's a perfect anagram. If you take out his middle initial, but if it's first and last name, I believe
Spiro Agnew. Oh, man.
It's grow a penis.
He already found it.
My anagram gift that turned Spiro Agnew into grow a penis.
Oh, man. Josie, you rule.
Beautiful. I'm so happy that I could bring this to the table right now.
So anyway,
why do I know his name?
Old grow a penis over here. He got in a little bit of trouble, folks. He worked himself up. Tax fraud and taking bribes, right? Greek people, very accommodating people.
That's, that happens.
Yeah, they're very friendly on your way in, but they can't wait to get you out the door either. So it's, there's probably money changing hands at any given time. But Spiro leaves, resigns in disgrace, and that's how strong those accusations were. Now Nixon goes, well, I'm going to need a new VP. And the GOP at the time, that is the Grand Old Party, that's a nickname for the old Republicans, but they give him no choice. They're like, listen, you're either taking Gerald Ford or you're not doing this at all. And that now makes Gerald Ford, he will not be Speaker of the House. Instead, he's going to be Vice President of the United States. And it's only 1973, folks. Ford is not given much of a chance to get into the full swing of things on his new position before the infamous Watergate scandal breaks.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Watergate is loosely referenced in Forrest Gump, which is what put the idea of deep state Gump into my head.
I like that.
If you want the full story on the Watergate scandal, also in the back catalog, folks. Come on, I've done a lot of work here in my career. Let's enjoy it, all right? It's also an Uncle Paulie episode for those who remember my Uncle Paulie. As Watergate exploded, Nixon is going to face the facts, very slowly, of course. He doesn't resign right away. Johnny Carson is actually calling for his resignation via jokes. Carson was always good about still doing jokes on late night. Nixon will resign as president, the only man in this country's history to do so, but that's just us talking here in 2025. I don't know how this episode's going to age. It is now 1974, and good old Gerald Ford, you're still not Speaker of the House, buddy. Instead, you're the President of the United States. He's won a ton of elections as a politician, but none for VP and none for POTUS. Ford is celebrated at first, but like you said, Josie hit it on the nose right out the gate here, folks. He pardons Richard Nixon in 1974 for the Watergate scandal, and the approval rating, it just tanks, okay? This leads us to 1975, September 5th, in fact, okay? President Ford is trying to heal a nation. They can't quite shake the scandals of this Nixon administration. Ford goes to Sacramento, California, and is about to have a run-in with someone named Squeaky. What's the worst nickname of anybody that you knew growing up? Because I knew it. I still know a squeaker. We call him Squeaky. He's a fireman in Kearney, New Jersey.
Oh, we had a kid that we just called Anus. That was probably worse.
If only Spiro T. Agnew was here to tell us what he was growing up called. Anus is a good one, by the way. Now, if Squeaky Fromm sounds familiar, folks, is because Dakota Fanning once played her in a movie, not just any movie, it was Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So Dakota Fanning is the one who's in that movie here. That should be a pop culture reference for that one, but this is why I love this show. I don't ever plan the direction it goes in. I look into a text message Harrington sends me. Now I got 3 full episodes of this ridiculous 17-day stretch in Ford's career, and Josie was on the very first episode of the show where we covered Leslie Van Houten, who is widely considered the hottest Manson girl. She's got it going on, folks.
Yeah.
Check that one out. That one is available on YouTube.
Not even
and
a contest.
Yeah, she's a smoke show. But here's where it gets great. Squeaky Fromm, well, she's the woman that's going to wind up pointing a .45 caliber pistol at the president, and she pulls the trigger. Lucky for President Ford, Miss Fromm doesn't know that pistols have to have a round chambered in them before they operate. She just put the magazine in and then pointed it, and she goes, "It's not working. It's not working." I'm not even kidding. When they tackled her to the ground, the only reason Secret Service figured out to intervene was because a metallic clicking sound was coming from the crowd. So,
holy shit.
Yeah, Secret Service, you want them to be a little better. That's
You
all
want
I'm
them
saying.
to be better. You
Yeah.
want your assassins to be better.
It's well, here's the problem too. So her real name is Lynette Squeaky Fromm, and it actually breaks the rule. All great assassins have 3 first names, right? You got John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. For Martin Luther King, I forget the guy's name. It was Central Intelligence Agency.
That's really what their names all are. Let's be real.
She ain't wrong, folks. I never understood that, but what brings me into the fold on this one here immediately is. It was perfect because you texted me you were going to be in town. I said, absolutely. You were great on the first episode. We cover the Manson family. Squeaky Fromm is arguably the most diehard, devoted member of the Manson family. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Manson sphere.
So excited. Let's go.
She does get tackled, and when she's tackled by Secret Service, she's reportedly screaming, "It didn't go off. Can you believe it?" Like almost like a womp, womp, womp.
Oh, my God.
So she will receive a life sentence for the attempt, and she will serve 34 years of it. We're going to just let you guys know the end of this story right now. She's paroled in 2009. Fromm currently lives in New York State in a home that is decorated with skulls. Her boyfriend, who I believe beat a manslaughter charge, is known to be obsessed with, or at least a fan of, Charles Manson.
Oh.
So, again, let's get a message to Shannon. She can probably have Squeaky Fromm on her podcast. If she reaches out, just keep emailing Shannon, all right? She'll come in, terrify Figs, and we'll have a good time. Now, this is where it gets wild in a hurry. This was supposed to be an episode where we covered the 2 attempts and just do it neatly in a little package here, but I can't predict the show. I can never predict what I'm going to wind up finding. Lynette Fromm, that was her name before she got the nickname Squeaky. I want to know how your friend Anus got the handle Anus.
I wish I knew. He had been Anus. I came into high
it's a dude,
school.
okay.
It's a dude.
Already a win.
You should never call a lady Anus. That would be crazy. But no, he's a dude, and he had that when I went into high school. Like, he went into high school with that name. I don't know how he became Anus.
We did have I think he was just dark-skinned Hispanic adopted kid that a fellow adopted kid in my high school, and his nickname was Poop.
That's crazy.
It was amusing. He was a good kid, though. I liked him. He was a good character.
Where did you go to school?
It's northern New Jersey. They're not people.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, it was a rough one, man. It was and Cowboys fan too, so no love lost.
Oh, well then. Sorry, Poop. I agree.
So Lynette Fromm is interesting here. She's going to get the nickname Squeaky later, and it's as creepy as you'd expect it to be.
I would think it would be Clicky because the gun doesn't go off.
Clicky would be
so embarrassing that like your assassination attempt just didn't work because you couldn't load the gun properly.
Honest to God, I think you're right, but I also kind of blame the patriarchy.
I mean, maybe, but Manson clearly taught gun skills in his family, so like...
You would think. I mean, I think the wrong chick wound up on this job here. And by the way, she doesn't even really credit Manson with the reason she did it, which I thought was weird. By the way, when she first meets Manson, she's kicked out of her house. She's sitting on a curb in Venice Beach. She's 19 years old, I think. And she's sitting there looking all sad. She'd had a little bit of experience with like alcohol and drugs and kind of the party scene of Venice Beach. And then a man walks off a bus, looks at her and goes, "Parents kicked you out, didn't they?" And just walks away. And she goes, "Oh my God, that guy can read my thoughts."
Holy
and she
shit.
followed him. So from moment one of meeting Charles Manson, she's like, "Oh, he has powers."
This is just the dumbest lady in history.
It's one of those things where it's the mixture between somebody going to a psychic medium or just seeing Matt Rife live. And you're like, oh, if I give them enough information, they can just figure something out about me.
As somebody who goes to psychic mediums, this lady is much dumber than that.
It's
is what it seems like.
There was not a whole lot of prerequisite in order to get her on board here, apparently. But she's fascinating because she follows him around. She becomes the almost mother superior of the Manson family. She grabs her things, follows him around, never truly stopped following him. There's an eerie quote in a newspaper where they asked her if she still loves Charles Manson. And she goes, "You never really fall out of love."
Well, that's a beautiful thing. At least she's loyal.
Lifetime movie right around the corner. It actually reminded me of Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis in Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second time we've referenced an Oliver Stone movie in this one. But she's going to wind up becoming one of the earliest members and also the most important members of the aforementioned Manson family. Manson's known for giving people nicknames. They call certain people, I think Leslie Van Houten was known as Lulu, I think. I'm trying to remember the other nicknames that he had for everybody.
That's a hot nickname.
It's a good one. So Lululemon would be the modern one if we were to recast that now. But Lynette doesn't become known as Squeaky until she arrives at Spahn Ranch. And this is one of the highlights of the first episode of the show. Josie's got a lot of knowledge on the Manson family.
I don't even think I have that much.
You know more than the average person.
That's probably true.
10,000%.
Yeah.
Manson is he's going to wind up over at Spahn Ranch. Spahn Ranch, of course, is George Spahn's old ranch where they used to shoot westerns, like literally episodes of Bonanza were shot there, which is one of my mom's favorite shows. She has a huge crush on Little Joe, who was Michael Landon.
That's adorable.
Yeah, she has a big crush. Now, her crush on him is from Bonanza and Highway to Heaven, and then all of her nieces, my dad's nieces as well. They were all in love with him from Little House on the Prairie.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's weird. He's generational. He's bringing everyone together. It's like there's a lot of kids out there right now that are just finding out Jennifer Aniston's hot. It's weird.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To not know is crazy.
Well, I saw it when I saw Leprechaun for the first time. I was like, that girl's a star. Let me tell you. The Miss Fromm is a diehard for old Charlie here. Now, she winds up taking care of George Spahn, who is... there's a gray area about what they were really getting involved with because a lot of them were just doing chores around the farm. George Spahn is an 80-year-old man. These girls are mostly runaways, drug addicts. They're all listening to Charlie, but one of the things Charlie wants to do is he goes, well, we'll be nice to George. George, by the way, not a victim of Manson ever. I didn't realize that. A lot of the girls, they wind up living on the ranch after Manson gets arrested for another year. Some of the girls just stayed with him because they liked him. So it's a little bit of a Playboy Hugh Hefner thing that he has going on. There's something about him that people find endearing.
Yeah. Couldn't be the house. Couldn't be the place to stay.
I was going to say it's the roof over your head.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why Carly stays with me. Hit me, Harrington.
I'm just the only reference point I have for this is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they depicted Spahn at that point in his life being like bedridden and essentially catatonic, and Squeaky would go in there and take care of him like once a week or something like that, and that was his life. Is there any truth to that, or was he still like up and about and spry at the time of the Manson murders?
It played by the great Bruce Dern in that movie too, by the way.
Oh.
Here's a weird one. Squeaky denies there was anything sexual with that, but Squeaky's nickname, Harrington, comes from George Spahn, who nicknamed her that because that's the sound she would make when he would run his hand up her inner thigh. A little creepy.
She was how old when she met him?
So she was 19 when she got with Manson, so figure this is a 20-year-old girl, but an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
All right, and this is... the Rolling Stones have already redefined what age limits are on a lot of stuff, too, so let's be honest there, folks. That's how she gets the nickname here. She's going to hold a position of power in the Manson family, many agreeing that if Charlie himself isn't around, then Squeaky is the one calling the shots here on the ranch. That being said, what we covered was Leslie Van Houten and the Tate LaBianca murders, right? You knew a ton about that. Squeaky is not on scene for either of those, so she's got a clean criminal record, as clean as you can, I would say, as a member of the Manson family. When Charles and the family get raided and arrested at Spahn Ranch, Squeaky proves her hyper loyalty to Charlie. Her and the family wind up camp. Our episode, we focused on what was going on inside the jail. It was just as batshit outside.
Yeah.
The Manson family was camping out there.
I would argue more batshit outside.
You have a point.
You have to be in the jail. You're there. You don't have to go when you're not.
Mm-hmm. There's at least guards in there that can kind of keep you. There's some sort of a schedule, but she was pretty much throwing an impromptu comedy festival out there, protesting Charles's innocence, carving X's into their foreheads in solidarity with our girl Leslie Van Houten.
Yep.
What's the over/under, by the way, between Leslie or Squeaky coming on The Thing Is? Let's think about that one for a second.
I mean, Squeaky's already in New York.
Yeah, that's true. That's an easy...
That's a Greyhound bus away.
Yeah.
I feel like... And by the way...
I'll go pick her up.
I was going to say get her an Uber, but a Greyhound or just Harrington's passenger seat.
And now I adore her, and she's pretty much my fairy godmother in comedy, but Lynn Coplitz probably had a harder time getting here than Squeaky Fromm would have getting to Gas Digital, and Lynn lives in the city.
Forget the thing is, why don't you get Squeaky on here?
We could.
Don't tell her the name of the show.
No, that's right. We'll be like we'll call it Charlie's Angels, that episode.
Yeah.
On another episode of Charlie's Angels. Now, the hope here, by the way, there's a couple wild ones. They're pulling all sorts of nonsense out, protesting the proceedings. One of these attempts, she actually catches 2 charges while she's protesting. Number one is that she's trying to tamper with the witnesses. Mm-hmm. Not all the Manson girls are devotees. There's a couple people that are like, I don't know, this is like a thing I'm doing. I thought it'd be a good chapter in my book. You know, a lot of the girls, let's just say, you know, there's a lot of girls out there that do the spicy content that use the word star at the end of their name.
Yeah.
But we're both in comedy. We know there's got to be some middles. There's some strong middles.
There's a couple asteroids.
A feature at best.
There's some space junk. I don't know about stars.
Space junk's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, there's one chick named Barbara Hoyt over here. And Barbara's a Manson girl, but not quite a devotee. And she actually agrees to testify in the trial. So Squeaky's first charge is that she refuses to testify. That finds her in contempt of court. And then she starts tampering with witnesses here. I wanted to skip over this to try to put this, I wanted a neat package for this episode. It's not happening, folks. How do I skip over the part where they send Barbara, who they think is going to testify against Charlie and incriminate him, they sent her to Hawaii in order to get her away from the trial to try to convince her not to testify. And in case she doesn't get on board with the old Manson family wagon, the decision was made and she was dosed with multiple hits of LSD via a hamburger.
That's not a bad way to get dosed. As someone who's been dosed with a dessert, not LSD, but food is not a bad, if you're gonna get dosed.
A dessert?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask any more questions if you're not comfortable with it.
Oh, no, it's fine. Ask away.
What was the dessert?
It was a caramel toffee flan. It was worth the dosing. I'll be honest. Fucking delicious. Worth the dosing.
That's quite the endorsement.
It was amazing. That guy was a piece of shit, but he could fucking bake, that's for sure.
It was homemade, too?
Oh, yeah. No, the dude made it and put Bart Simpson oil in it. It was crazy amounts of THC.
Right.
And I had
Bart
no
Simpson.
idea that I consumed it.
I was waiting for you to say Georgia Homeboy.
It might not be Bart Simpson oil. It might be something else. It's either Bart or Simpson. I can never remember which one.
Yet again, Josie, I come away from an encounter with you being grateful that you were so much more well-adjusted than you could be.
Oh, it should be so much worse. It should be so much worse. It gets funneled into this somehow. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, a burger full of acid.
Is it RSO, Rick Simpson oil?
Rick Simpson oil, that's what it is. Yeah, I ate a piece of dessert that was full of that shit, and then I was like, I think I'm actually going crazy. And I wasn't. I was just high out of my mind.
See, when you said Bart Simpson oil, I just imagined that you're supposed to say, like, I caramba, right? When you find out, you're like, I Cody.
I was just writing words sequentially on a chalkboard over and over again. That's was my
right.
high.
Passing out does not comply consent. Passing out does not comply consent. Oh, man. Do the Bart, man. That being said, folks, I do feel like a burger with acid in it is probably going to be on the menu at Skankfest this year. I feel
it almost
that's within
certainly.
the realm of possibility.
It's got to taste like shit. How did she not know? I feel like acid can't taste good.
Oh,
I've never taken acid. Does it taste good?
It tastes like water. You don't taste like nothing.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you're sitting there. Did you ever chew on like a piece of paper when you were bored in school?
No, I'm not a fucking goat. What do you mean?
All right, Josie's giving us some uptown class right now. So
I am fat, but I've never eaten paper. Let's be real about this.
I remember chewing on a piece of paper every now and then when I was bored in school, and that is the exact same thing that I had. Sometimes you get to see cool stuff for 18 hours afterwards. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Okay.
But putting on a burger, yeah, you really can't tell the taste on that one. Now, by the way, if it was a mushroom Swiss burger and it was just actual shrooms, now we're talking.
That's creative.
That might be. That might actually just be what I do for my birthday this year.
Yeah.
Squeaky is a character here. She's also a diehard. She's getting involved behind the scenes. She's trying to maintain her boy Charlie's innocence. Barbara, by the way, survives that incident, and Squeaky will find herself in jail for that. Barbara, by the way,
was that meant to kill her?
I don't know if it was meant to get rid of her or just incapacitate her to a point where it wouldn't hold up. Because keep in mind, everybody else was on so many hits of it that they were like, oh, we can't even trust their testimony. They're not sure what reality is. But I thought this was worth mentioning. Barbara becomes a nurse. So yeah, and actually she writes herself, she goes, I was in the Manson family for a while. Imagine you're giving blood, and you're sitting there like, oh yeah, I got to do blood work today or whatever. And we're all like, oh, I don't know, there's something about you. It reminds me of this guy, Charlie, I used to live with. Oh, that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, Charlie. It's a wild time over there at Spawn Ranch, and you're just sitting there while she's got like literally a needle in your arm and watching your blood flow. You're like you're terrifying me, Barbara. But she became friends with Sharon Tate's sister, by the way.
God bless.
Yeah, she's
Barbara.
One of the reclamation projects of the Manson family. But around this time, by the way, Squeaky will begin a project. Much like myself, who has a book out on Amazon, folks, called History Isn't Boring, Your Teacher Was. Please buy that. It's the best way to support the show. Squeaky will also try to become an author. She's going to write a 600-page book about her time with the Manson family. Other family members wind up contributing to the book as well. Oh, yeah, don't forget this part of it. And then finally, one family member, I couldn't figure out which one it was, reaches out to her and goes, hey, so there's this word called incriminating, and I'm pretty sure 597 pages of your book are incriminating. And then the other one where you dedicate it to Charles, whose great work we will continue, is probably also questionable at best. Mm-hmm. So Charlie ascends to prison, and ever the loyal companion, whenever Charlie moved prisons, Squeaky will move to whatever town the prison Charlie's being held in. She moves to that town and then stays close to him. It's kind of like the people who follow fish around. Yeah, that's just their life. Because I follow Manson around. Just it's less acid than a fish show. Fromm will actually get off on a murder charge in Stockton in 1971 on lack of evidence. Around this time, she begins to go by Charlie's nickname for her. So Squeaky was, Mr. Spawn's nickname for her. Her actual nickname was Red. Okay. Now, is that because she has red hair, or is that because, as she says, Charlie knew that she had a love of the great California redwoods? They're like the biggest trees in the entire world, essentially. So she adores on that. That's her favorite thing. That's her passion project. When you're not a mom, at some point you find some cause that brings out maternal instincts, I think. So her particular one was protecting the California redwoods, which sounds boring until you realize that's what leads her to going after the president.
Really?
She went full Fern Gully.
What was Ford doing to the trees?
I guess it was a head of state thing, and he was just kind of catching a lot of flack on that one.
She's just like a fucked up Lorax? That's cool.
Here's what I hope. I didn't give the Lorax reference enough credit on that when you stopped me.
That was fun.
This is the part that I hope Blind Mike is going to cut out and turn into a clip. Folks, in 1975, Squeaky, a.k.a. Red Fromm, is in Long Beach, California, and knocks on the hotel door of a guy named Paul Goldberg. Goldberg happened to be the vice president of Swan Song Records. Do you know who owned Swan Song Records? It's okay if you don't. I didn't know it, and I've listened to this band my entire life.
I don't.
Led Zeppelin.
Really?
So, Swan Song Records. It is the label owned by Led Zeppelin. Goldberg will describe Squeaky, who is knocking on his hotel room door, a frantic woman with a nervous tic. And she claims she needs to speak with Jimmy Page immediately about a vision that she had about the immediate danger and evil that is surrounding Jimmy Page. So Goldberg is not about to put the best guitar player on planet Earth. Keep in mind, Hendrix is dead at this time, and Eddie Van Halen is not well known enough yet to be the king. This is 1975. Anyway, you're not going to let the star guitar player of the biggest rock band in the world have a word with this woman who's just going like, I just really got to talk to you about some stuff. I got info. I don't know. So she's creepy as hell to begin with. He can't figure out who she is. He doesn't know who she is. He just knows.
A picture of this lady? I still haven't seen her yet.
If you can, Harrington, just when you can. I know Carly's going to do stuff and post edit. Thank you, babe.
I do want to picture whatever the fuck was knocking on the door.
I'll tell you what, when you see Squeaky Fromm, you're going to sit there and be like, yep, it was Leslie's show. She was the prom queen. There's good old Lynette Squeaky Fromm. That's just
not even fair.
Yeah, she's
Yeah. She looks a little bit like a mouse. too. So
remember
Squeaky
before
kinda fits.
before the Beatles had facial hair? She kind of looks like she could be almost
Yeah.
any one of them. And
She does look like a British man in a wig. That's what that is.
Anyway, enough of that. That's a long-haired photo of Phil Collins, folks. That's not actually Squeaky. But this is how crazy it gets. Squeaky is sitting here trying to get an audience with Jimmy Page. Goldberg has a long talk with her and goes, hey, you can't see Jimmy Page. What you can do is, why don't you write a note to him, and I'll get it to him, and then maybe you can talk to him tomorrow. And Squeaky responds, tomorrow might be too late. Pretty ominous.
Yep.
Pretty ominous. Goldberg doesn't budge, though. He does allow her to write the message. She writes the note, gets escorted away against her will, and Goldberg winds up burning the note without ever reading it.
What the fuck?
So I kind of wanted to know, too. My curiosity is there.
What the fuck, Goldberg?
Now, on the one hand, you're wondering, did this save Jimmy Page's life? Was there some sort of a hex or a curse she was going to put on him? Was it going to change something in Jimmy Page's behavior to get him in this room with this woman who's capable of some terrible things? On the other hand, what if Squeaky Fromm was right and she saw or believed she saw what was perhaps a warning to Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin about copyright lawsuits?
That was probably it.
We're not going to be able to figure it out.
That could have been it. And
Plagiarism.
we'll never know. Fuck you, Goldberg.
Plagiarism accusations. By the way, you said "fuck you, Goldberg," and Zach Amico just looked up because he thinks we're talking wrestling right now. One thing we do know, by the way, is that Goldberg recognizes the crazy girl from the hotel when she's on the news later that year. Secret Service agents will tackle her as she attempts to unalive the 38th president of the United States, the aforementioned Gerald Ford. Squeaky claims several things. According to her, she wanted to speak with President Ford because she is fearful of the impact pollution is going to have on her beloved California redwoods. She's armed with a .45 caliber 1911 pistol, which is the sharpest looking gun in American history, I think. Not very accurate. The joke about those for people who are firearms enthusiasts is they give you it's a very heavy gun. Mm-hmm. So they give you 8 shots in the magazine, and then once you miss all 8, then it's heavy enough you can use it to club the person because it's just not known to be accurate.
Less accurate when you don't load the chamber.
That's the key on this one. Squeaky is going to put on a bright red dress. The gun she borrowed is actually from another older man that she had been banging, who was known as like a Manson family sugar daddy. And he's even talking to her. He goes, you really don't want a .45 for anything. Like if you're trying to do protection at home, you really want a .38, something like that. And she ignores him. He tries teaching her about guns and stuff like that, but she doesn't pay attention. She never chambers the round, and the metallic clicking sound, like we said, is what's going to alert authorities to this attempt that's taking place in Sacramento in 1975. And Fromm gets tackled to the ground by a guy named Larry Borndorf, and she's screaming, "It didn't go off! Can you believe this?" Of all the, just picture the Curb Your Enthusiasm music playing right when she ruins it. During her trial, she is uncooperative. She often has to be carried into the courtroom by bailiffs. She also demanded that Charlie Manson should be in the courtroom proceedings with her, like as an emotional support cult leader.
Yep.
She's just a character here. I'm not rooting for her at any part of this story, but if I could have been a fly on the wall for that trial, because apparently the prosecutor goes, this woman tried to assassinate the President of the United States. She's got just pure evil and hatred in her heart. And what winds up I couldn't predict this. Squeaky Fromm takes out an apple and throws it at the prosecutor's face and knocks his glasses off his head when he says that about her. I'll show you you're saying I'm full of hate and anger? Oh, you right in the face.
She walked so that guy who jumped over from the witness stand over the judge's desk could run. That's really,
How many memes could we have had if those trials were on C-SPAN?
When you, I'll never be able to see a fucking court case where somebody lobs an apple. You just don't get that anymore.
It was a different time. A different time. And she's not done being a character yet, too. In 1979, Squeaky will get transferred to another prison for attacking an inmate with a hammer. Squeaky Fromm is intimidating enough that she actually did attack with a hammer her roommate or cellmate rather in prison, who was involved with the TWA airline hijacks.
Okay.
So yeah, this woman is like, I'm on board with hijacking a plane and then us trying to make a run of it, but I can't live with this woman. All right, there's a thing. It's a stigma about ladies not getting along with other ladies.
This one does particularly sound like a moron and a nightmare. Like, she sounds like she's so insanely stupid, but also mouthy.
It's but you know what? She carries the true love in her heart, and that's almost admirable, right?
I mean, it's admirable, but I imagine tough to live with. Also, when were we giving prisoners hammers?
I don't know how she got it, or if she maybe held on to it from an assignment. Perhaps a makeshift hammer. I don't know. There's maybe a paper mache type thing. I'm not sure what they're doing. That was in 1979 when she gets transferred to another prison. But in 1987, she winds up showing this is what true love is. This is what I believe. Squeaky gets transferred to another prison in 1979, but in 1987, still ever devoted to Charlie, she hears a rumor that Charlie Manson has cancer. So what are you going to do? You're stuck in a prison right now. The man of your dreams is dying of cancer in another maximum security facility. Squeaky escapes from prison to go be with Charlie.
Hell yeah. God bless. You goddamn right she did.
She escapes from her prison in West Virginia as she
Well, that's how. That's how. Because she's such a fucking moron. I'm like, how did she manage to escape prison? It was in West Virginia.
Now I feel like I buried the lead. I should have been like a West Virginia prison. Like, oh my God, did she get out?
Sense.
She escaped?
Yeah. Oh no, did she like light a lighter in front of the fucking prison guards and they were like, oh, and she got out that way?
It makes you wonder on that one.
How did she? Yeah.
She does escape and she winds up making it out of the prison to get back to her one true love during his time of need. And if you're not seeing romance like this, you just haven't seen the movie Natural Born Killers. That's really what it boils down to. Fromm does not wind up getting back to Charlie. She makes the attempt to get close to him. And really, that's all. Love is about effort. That's what I feel. That's my takeaway from this week's show, folks, which we are wrapping up in a second over here. Fromm is paroled, by the way, in 2009. And like I said, when she was asked about Manson, are you still in love with him? Because she's I think she's one of two Manson family members that has yet to denounce him. And she goes, I was in love with him. I still am. And you never really fall out of love. And that should be the tagline on a Nicholas Sparks novel.
That is kind of beautiful.
Like that. Yeah. That would be great if they did The Notebook, but just at the end, it's just Charles Manson's been reading to her the whole time.
Yeah.
Did they get Sharon Tate? Yes, they did. And you helped a big part of it, didn't you, Squeaky? I used to be Squeaky. After the attempt on his life, by the way, Gerald Ford is still... This is where Gerald Ford gets... no credit at all. This is a badass baller move. He makes his meeting still with the governor of California, a guy named Jerry Brown, at 10:06 a.m. He's just a couple minutes late to his meeting. He won't even acknowledge the attempt on his life here until 30 minutes into the meeting. They're like, all right, any new business? I don't know. I think a chick from the Manson family just tried to off me on my way over here. But anyway, what do you guys got going on here? So I got things to do. The Wolverines are on later today. College Game Day Live, folks. He literally is quoted as saying, they asked him, were you afraid? I mean, what made you decide to continue on with your agenda for the day? This is a terrifying thing. There's so many attempts on his life during this time that Gerald Ford will actually start wearing a giant trench coat laced with Kevlar. So it's a bulletproof trench coat, very Inspector Gadget, very. But that's a thing that he winds up having to have. Gerald Ford also is one of the few presidents that has ever, I believe, he signed an executive order to ban the United States from using assassination as a political tool. Now, is that because so many attempts were on his own life? Was that because he was part of the Warren Commission and, some weird stuff went down? Kind of hard to tell on that one. But it doesn't change this awesome quote from him.
So I didn't realize that was a policy that we had.
It was one of those gray areas. They're like, well, if it's not in writing, we can get away with it. You know what I mean? It's like my buddy John at work. He puts on shorts before the end of the workday. And I was like, well, you didn't say I couldn't put shorts on before the end of the workday. I just want to be comfortable in my sneakers. I was like, John, we love you. We love you very much, but we work till 3:30. But the president had a badass quote on this one when they were asking him, how do you feel about the attempt on your life? Are you afraid this is going to change your schedule moving forward? He goes, nah, we just got to keep getting out there. I got things to do, Got to go on with their schedule. President has to be out there. President has to be aggressive. Got to meet the people. These are the people we serve. And it's like, dude, you're allowed an afternoon off at that point.
Well, I mean, can we really count it as an attempt on his life when it was effectively just a fucking toy pointing at him at that point? There was no bullets in it. If a shot had fired off and just missed him, take the year off. I don't even care at that point.
This is why Josie's money.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I leave here and somebody points a fake gun at me and just clicks it, I'm taking the rest of the year off. But for him, that doesn't feel like an assassination attempt.
That'd be such a great thing for you, too, where if somebody points a gun at you on the street when you're leaving Gas Digital, you're like, that's it, no more New York. Back to safe Philadelphia, where people don't do things
Back
like...
to the house where my car was shot at in front of. My Subaru's got 8 bullet holes in it, and that was done in front of my apartment.
So Philly, the safe haven of Philadelphia,
yes,
finally.
The warm embrace of West Philadelphia.
By the way, another baller move by Gerald Ford here as we're wrapping up is the gun that was used, or would have been used, to your point, by Squeaky Fromm is actually on display at the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan, folks. Squeaky Fromm continues to live a quiet life in New York State. She's well liked by her neighbors, apparently. They say she courts no controversy here. And Josie made a great point. And I want to say thank you again for being a great guest.
Thank you for having me. I love this show.
Carte blanche. Please come on anytime.
This show's great.
Gerald Ford's life is saved, and he is, he's not really counting it as an attempt. He goes, it's probably an isolated incident. 17 days later, and this time the next attempted assassin will have the required 3 first names. Another hero will arise to stop this attempt from happening. But there's going to be a little complications that follow, and that's a little bit of a teaser for you here, folks. Again, it's going to be a 3-part episode. We'll catch you guys up each week if we have to. I'll do a brief recap on that one. But I want to say thank you to my guest, Josie Marcellino. Please check her out. Go see her live comedy.
Yay.
Be a part of any project she's involved with. Mike Harrington, welcome back to the United States, buddy. The Dominator, thank you for everything that you do. Also, Dom, it's coming up on Polynesian Awareness Month, and I just want to say we respect your culture. Thank you for your contributions to our great country, sir. For me, folks, it's at KP Burke Sucks over on Instagram. I got new reels going up all the time here, and we're getting a lot of traction on that one. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment down there. It winds up helping us with whatever the algorithm is. I don't know. It's all Terminator type stuff to me. But again, Gas Digital is the people that are making this show possible. We can actually air. I don't know if the actual Deep State Forrest Gump thing is going to make it in there, but it's going to be live on Gas Digital, folks.
Hey.
They're not afraid of the fight.
So if you missed that, now subscribe to Gas, because that was worth it. Go watch it.
It's up there with Evil Dusty Roads for my best new weird gimmicks we've done on this show here. But that being said, folks, you are the reason we're able to do the show. Gas Digital gives us a platform, but without listeners, I ain't got shit going. So my name was KP Burke, and that was Squeaky Fromm, American Loser.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Counted first, never last, still erased from the past.